Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? A bit of change of scenery. We're in the car for a change, and your boy's in his dressing gown. But I did really want to make this video, so yeah. At the start of this year, I made the decision to defer from uni. I was studying music, and don't get me wrong, I loved it. But at the time and still now, as a career, it just wasn't really what I was thinking. It wasn't what I really wanted to be spending most of my time on. And so I decided to defer. And it's been roughly, I think, 6 months now. I don't know how to put it. It's been a really fucky experience in so many ways that I wasn't expecting having deferred. Because here's the thing, right? Up until I deferred, I had been in the school system for about 13 years. 13 years. And I'm just before I start, I'm not having a go at the school system. This to be honest, I think school is actually a really great place. And like everything, it has its negatives, but the big underlying problem with the school system, and you'll hear so many people talk about this, is that nothing in school is truly yours. It's always someone handing you a task. And the problem with this is that when these people are, giving you a task, telling you to do something, teaching you something, they're enticing you with knowledge, right? Learn this new thing, go and do this new thing. And the thing about knowledge that a lot of people don't really understand is that knowledge is a moral currency. I was listening to a podcast by Mark Manson, great guy, by the way, get onto his shit if you haven't. But, he was talking about this same concept of knowledge being a moral currency. The way he put it was, when you tell people that athleticism or musical ability is heritable, nobody flinches. But when you say the same thing about knowledge, everyone gets pissed off because you're threatening their social status, because knowledge is a moral currency. We've been taught to get good grades from young. We've been told over and over again, study hard. If you learn a lot and you study hard and you work hard in school, you'll have a great life. And a lot of that's true. We like to be smart, but there's so much more to life than just being smart. Like I said before, there are all the other ins and outs of life, learning how to relate to people, learning how to empathize with people, learning how to say and hear no. This stuff in school about learning new things, the things that supposedly get us a good life by itself, no, they don't, because there are so many other parts to life, and that's just touching the tip of the ice cube. The tip of the iceberg, sorry. The real learning of life doesn't start until you finish school. The real education doesn't start until you leave school and you get out into the real world and you're an adult. And holy crap, it's true. And anyway, enough of that rant. Coming back to, me and deferring, that's what really became apparent to me, was for once in my life, no higher up was, handing me tasks. There were no deadlines. It was quite literally all on me. All of what I did and spent my time on and worked on was on me, and holy fuck was I unprepared. I was not, and the worst part was, I knew it was coming. It's really funny, because I remember the first week into when I deferred, I cracked down, I wrote like a full year's plan on what I was going to do. I'm going to work on this YouTube channel more, produce like 3 videos a week. I'm going to work on my music projects on the side. I'm going to get like extra fit in the gym and be training like a crazy maniac and be known as that guy, who's super crazy and can do all this stuff. I'm going to, boost my social skills super quick. And I hyped myself up, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was cursing myself because I was giving myself really, really unrealistic expectations. Like super unrealistic expectations of what I could actually do. When you're finally left to your own devices and you're fully self-accountable, if you have any addiction problems, or if you've had any addiction problems, or any vices, social media, you're addicted to your phone, video games, porn, drugs, alcohol, that stuff is going to become apparent. And for me, some of that stuff did, I hate to admit it, but it did become apparent. And that sucks, because obviously that pushes you further and further away what you should be doing and working on. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but just being aware of it isn't really enough. And that brings me to the very last thing that I want to talk about. In these past 6 months, the only thing that has helped me consistently, without failure, is the do something principle. And I know this video has been like a lot of shimble shamble, if you want to call it, and been all over the place. But there's one thing I want you to take away from this video. It's this: just do something. You're probably thinking, what the fuck does that mean? I'll give you an example. I remember, so obviously I deferred. I had all this free time on my hands. You know, I set these really high expectations for myself. I tried to do a few of them, realized how hard they were, got stuck into these vices. You know, like some days I'd just sit and scroll for fucking forever. You know, I slowly slip into this mindset of, you know, not really doing anything, not really sure what I should be doing, and I'm getting overwhelmed, and it's like this infinite feedback loop from hell. This is where the do something principle really came in handy, because, like, I remember one day I was just laying on my bed. No, I got up really late. I had not done jack shit. And I'm just laying in bed thinking, oh shit, I've got to do all this stuff. You know, I've got to complete this project. I should be going to the gym now, but I've also got to work on this, and I don't know if I have time, and blah blah blah. And you start to get overwhelmed. And I knew just from that I was going to do nothing that day. I was just going to sit around, laze around, and do nothing. And then, because I'd heard about this do something principle before, and, you know, I just thought, you know what, fuck it. If I'm not going to do anything today, I might as well go and do nothing in a cool new location that I haven't been to. So I got up, I took a shower, put on some clothes, and then I just caught a random train to a new area that I'd never been to before, and I just walked around. And to be totally honest, it wasn't that enjoyable, but in the long run, it made my day way better than I thought it was, and I did nothing. Because I took that feeling of defeat that I felt when I was laying in bed, and I'm like, oh, you know, I really want to do work, but, you know, since deferring, and, you know, I've had all this, you know, being self-accountable is really hard and whatever, and, you know, all this stuff overwhelms you, so it just caused me to sort of lay there and not really do anything. I took that feeling of defeat and I actually utilized it. And this can apply to any situation. You know, our egos are fucking massive. And when we look at social media and we see everyone, you know, accomplishing such great things, doing great things, making great content, over-edited content that, you know, obviously took a lot of work, but to you it looks like it was made really effortlessly. It gives us really high standards. And that just overwhelms us and causes us to do nothing. It causes us to, you know, not take action. And it causes us to forget that, you know what, we actually have to take baby steps and start small and fail and then just try again to actually do what we want to do. And that's exactly what the do something principle is. A simple act of just doing something, even if it's good enough or even below that, that's all you need. Because if you just, it's as simple as that. Just show up consistently and just do something. Even if it's a little bit. Set the standard for yourself so low that it feels way too achievable. Just do something, and that'll push you in the right direction. Because the truth is, most people don't. Most people don't have the self-accountability, but this is how you develop the self-accountability. It's just by trying, doing baby steps, and working your way up. You need patience. And look, I'm not saying I have much of this, but I'm telling you time and time again, for any situation, it has not failed me. And especially since I've deferred and, you know, have been in this situation for the past 6 months where I'm fully, apart from a part-time job that I have at a gardening company, but apart from that, I'm fully responsible fully responsible how I spend my time, this principle is the thing that has not failed me. Because let's face it, when you're in the school system for so long and you learn how to do tasks for other people, and then you put yourself in a state where you have to do things for yourself and figure out things for yourself, not for the sake of others, you're probably going to struggle. And you know what? That's okay. Because that's part of the experience. You need to struggle. You need to face your ego head on. And despite that, just do something anyway. Just try. Even if the standard is so low, that's going to still push you forward, rather than just the other version of you that gets too overwhelmed by your thoughts and then just does nothing. Doesn't take the action that they really want to take, doesn't try the things that they really want to try, and ultimately doesn't even get close to accomplishing the things that they want to accomplish. So, yeah, this video went on for way longer than I thought, but I really hope it helps you. So, I don't know, whether you're thinking of deferring or if you want to take a different path in life, or you're going through a bit of a crisis, even if you are in university, school, or you're working or whatever, and you just want to do something on the side, you know, I really hope you gain something from this video. I've still got a lot to learn, but I just thought I'd share that with you. Cheers. Have a good one.